Hi, thank you very much to Crowdsourcing Week for having me here along today to talk to you. I realise it's probably the end of a long week for you and the chocolate shops are still open, so I won't be very long and I hope to be interesting for you. So the headline of today's discussions are the future of work, education and entrepreneurship. My day job is advising the European Commissioner, Marianne Thyssen, who's Commissioner for Employment, Social Affairs and Skills and Labour Mobility. So, needless to say, your theme strikes a strong chord with her work. So today, I'm interested to learn about what you're uncovering, and I also want to tell you some things about what the Commission is doing to boost entrepreneurship and support microfinance. But maybe just a few words of context first. It's clear that in Europe there is a huge untapped potential of entrepreneurship. Something is holding us back. There are two main reasons for starting your own business. The first, because you see an opportunity and you want to start up for yourself. And the second, because for whatever reason, you can't get a job or the right job, so you create your own. You could call this more necessity-based entrepreneurship. And one does not necessarily exclude the other. Increasingly also, especially with the rise of the gig economy, people are combining different statuses and more than one source of income. In broad terms, however, the opportunity element drives entrepreneurship in Europe more than necessity, just as is the case with other major economies, by a factor of about 2 to 1. The interesting thing is that when you compare opportunity-based entrepreneurship to our competitors, opportunity-based entrepreneurship in Europe is much lower. A study this year done for the European Commission by Pricewaterhouse highlights, for example, that when compared to the US, Europe has a gap of 20 million early-stage entrepreneurs. Surely this is a wasted potential. So why, and what can we do about it? There might be many different factors, but I want to focus on just two. And these are the things that we're particularly working on now. Firstly, entrepreneurial skills, and secondly, access to finance. Entrepreneurial skills. In June this year, the Commission adopted a new skills agenda for Europe. This includes an accent on entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial skills. And in a couple of weeks, we'll launch a strategy document specifically on youth, where the topic of education and entrepreneurship will be deepened. It's clear that in Europe's schools, universities, and training colleges, people are not being equipped enough with the entrepreneurial skills and mindsets that motivate them or give them a good base in order to set up their own business. Entrepreneurship is rarely taught as part of the formal curriculum. Even if across Europe we do see some excellent examples, such as Junior Achievement, which could inspire. Junior Achievement sets up mini companies in 30,000 schools across Europe. Career guidance also often overlooks entrepreneurship as a valid option. Now, the European Commission has no competence in defining school curricula or in telling countries how and what exactly to teach. But we can act to support member states and stakeholders by making policy recommendations to governments, by facilitating peer learning between countries and with stakeholders, and by developing tools such as the Entrepreneurial Competence Framework, which we launched in June together with the Skills Agenda, and highlighting good practice, such as through the European Enterprise Promotion Awards, where the 2016 winners were announced just yesterday, and through our funding programs, of course. Moving on to my second point on access to finance. This is perhaps the second most often cited important barrier. And here there is a range of support available from the European Union, which supports business startup and scale-up. These include grants, loans, loan guarantees, and equity products. I'll maybe focus on one just here, microfinance. Microfinance is an essential instrument to promote entrepreneurship, but it can also be a powerful tool to fight against social and financial exclusion. Often it manages to reach the parts that other types of funding don't. The first-time entrepreneur who just needs a few €1,000 but doesn't have any collateral, or the person with a poor credit rating because they tried and failed in the past to start a business, or the woman who is taking her first steps into business, or the young person who wants to set up a social enterprise and is not looking for big profits. Often, this category of borrower are too much of a risk and, given the small sums involved, are unlikely to be profitable for mainstream lenders, such as the high street banks or most business angels. These may also be people attracted to crowdfunding. The European Programme for Employment and Social Innovation, EASY, is making €193 million available until 2020 for just this group. This includes €96 million in guarantees, which can leverage more than €500 million. And it will finance micro and social entrepreneurs and create more than 60,000 jobs. EASY is a continuation of our commitment to microfinance, supporting loans of €25,000 or less. In October this year, the Commission reached the €1 billion mark in micro-enterprise funding since 2010, with more than 100 agreements signed with microfinance providers to support over 100,000 micro-entrepreneurs. And one of the distinguishing factors of EASY is that the money comes with strings. And these strings are technical assistance and business support. The research tells us that startups that receive business coaching and mentoring in a package together with access to affordable finance are most likely to survive and to thrive than the startups who only get the money. And this is especially the case for young people setting up their first businesses. But perhaps surprising, no crowdfunding platforms have applied to be an intermediary body under this programme, and I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about that today. Making full use of all of the financial instruments that we have to boost entrepreneurship across Europe is a part of how we can drive prosperity and get our economies back on the path to growth. EASY is complemented by a large range of debt and equity instruments supporting social enterprises with additional finance from the European Fund for Strategic Investments, helping more people into rewarding work. And as the evaluation of the programme shown, every micro-entrepreneur creates on average 2 jobs. This is a sound investment in Europe's growth and in people. Finally, I'd like to say a word about the European Pillar of Social Rights. The pillar is about strengthening social Europe, making sure that economic growth goes hand in hand with social progress. A large-scale consultation has been running during 2016 and will conclude in December. This will be followed by a conference in January to present the findings, and in spring next year, we'll come forward with concrete proposals, including legislative action where necessary. So the pillar should build on and complement our EU social acquis for well-functioning and fair labour markets and welfare systems. Once established, it will be the reference framework to screen the employment and social performance of participating member states, to drive reforms at national level, and to serve as a compass for convergence within the euro area. Now, as we approach the end of the consultation period, I can tell you that it's generated much discussion. Expectations are very high. Key messages include a concern from many respondents that social security systems are not well adapted to the new business models, such as the gig economy. Feedback indicates that European countries also need to address differences in the treatment in social protection systems and to enhance the transferability of social security entitlements. Unemployment, maternity or paternity pay, and leave, sickness, and pensions. New ways of working are opening up many opportunities, but also challenges. And the European Commission is working hard in order to listen and to respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Yeah. We'll take two.
Is there water?
Yes, just.
Two questions in one. First time, can we have some list of the European Union rules for our master manual for boosting and supporting? And second, what you say all time about decision of your commission about microfinance and microenterprise. What kind of regular directive or any other document we have now see in your sites or in the sites of any other institute of the European Union for information?
We're taking several, or maybe
one by one.
One by one. Okay. I'm not sure I understood the first question. So it was a list of EU rules in order to boost. So you're looking specifically for information about the rules and regulations on microfinance or on employment?
Both.
Both. Oui. Okay. Big field. Probably the best port of entry would be the web pages of the European Commission and the section from DG Employment and Social Affairs, which will take you through both the legislative framework on employment and social affairs in Europe, and will also give you links to information on microfinance, both provided through that part of the Commission on microfinance, but also to a specific portal which has been set up for access to finance. So I would probably say website as the first port of entry. Microfinance and the activity around the rules and the recommendations and the partnerships working in this area. We have a number of expert groups which are working specifically on the topic of microfinance and social enterprise. The GECES expert group is one such group. So this includes representatives from all countries and people who are directly working with the day-to-day challenges of microfinance, both from the legal side and the barriers which could exist to setting up, say, for example, in a cooperative or in a charity-based enterprise. And they produce mapping studies, they produce reports, recommendations to the Commission. We publish all of those, and so they're accessible online.
Thank you. We have time for one more question also.
Hello, just one question. Where can we find all the European Commission programs for entrepreneurship? Because you told about the European Commission website. Sorry, but to find information...
The website is not good?
The old European Commission, the problem is you have also executive agencies that are not in the main website. And also, normally, the local governmental advisors, for example, in France, Chambre de Commerce et Industrie, they don't know at all which program exists. For example, the Europe, it was the Enterprise Europe Network, mainly in France. They don't know it exists. And I think it's a real problem a problem of communication.
Yeah, I take the point. There's a lot on offer, which is good. Seeing the wood for the trees, being able to navigate what's exactly the angle that you're interested in and how you can get access to that is certainly something that we need to work on. I think also that the way that these things generally work is that general information can be provided on the Commission's web pages, for example, but normally you don't apply directly to the European Commission. This is why there are either agencies or in many cases intermediary bodies which disperse the funds and the advice and guidance that I was talking about, the technical assistance, through projects. Now, that's the right way to go because those are closer to the needs, they're more connected with people, but there is a challenge in making sure both that the information available at the European level makes its way down to the people who actually need it most on the ground, but also the messages from those people on the ground makes its way back up. We're trying, but I won't say we've got it 100%.
Thank you very much.
Julie, thank you. This is for you.